Good morning. It is Friday, July the 12th, 2024. I'm Thomas Caldwell of the Aurelian Column, and this is a special report. The morning after Joe Biden's big boy press conference. As I've said before, the most surprising thing to me is the fact that everyone's surprised. Those of us who had eyes, ears, a triple-digit IQ back in 2020 saw where things were going to go, not just politically, but also, in the case of Mr. Biden, biologically. This guy was never very good in his heyday. If those of you want to go back and really research him, I never met him. I did work in politics at the time. He was standing in the way of Clarence Thomas, trying to get into the Supreme Court, and he was considered a pretty loathsome creature at that time. But I almost feel sorry for him. I mean, this was worse than the debate with Trump. At least the debate with Trump, you get to listen to Trump and see what he was going to say. But sitting through that for 1 hour was hard. It was hard work. There's really no way he's going to continue in office because those who were upset about the debate are now probably seeing their blood overflowing with heat based on what they saw last night. I really think the odds of him making it to the election in office are very small, which means Camilla will end up stepping in and taking over. Oh, boy. Let me point something out to all of you people who thought that Biden was a good idea. First, I question your intelligence at any level. And I like to point out what would have happened in the positive had Trump been allowed to enter a second term. First off, it's almost certain that a war in Ukraine that's cost so many hundreds of thousands of lives on both sides between Russia and Ukraine would have been averted. The situation in Israel with Gaza wouldn't have gone the way it went. Things would have been a little different then if Trump was in. The thing that's going to hurt everybody, though, is the fact that by playing the side of the Ukrainian war that he did, Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, India, all these other countries are sick of being subject to the political whim of the United States in the utilization of our currency as a weapon. The U.S. is losing its position as a reserve currency, the U.S. dollar. And that is going to hurt us so bad. Because why the United States has been able to live way beyond its means is because everyone in the world was using our money. That's ending. Everyone is sick of this country because, frankly, boys and girls, they think of us as the bad guy, and that's not too far from the truth. This guy that you saw, who's obviously mentally deficient, is the one responsible for how many billions, hundreds of billions of dollars that have been poured into this Ukrainian war? The other thing also that's not really given much attention to is how Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, has been able to step in to places where he otherwise wouldn't be stepping in politically. Donald Trump started a dialogue with North Korea. He started one, but he wasn't able to continue it because he left office. Vladimir Putin has now stepped in to be an ally of North Korea. If Trump had been in power, it could be argued there would have been a peace treaty by now between the North and the South, the United States and North Korea, and things would be peaceful on that very troubled peninsula, in that very volatile part of the world. That didn't happen. all these stupid, short-sighted, arrogant desires to keep Donald Trump out of power are going to have long-term ramifications that every single man, woman, and child in the United States is going to feel. Now, the thing is that when Trump does come into office, unless he keels over himself, which is not beyond the realm of possibility, he's going to be inheriting one hell of a mess that it's probably going to be taking up his entire term in office to clean up. So nobody's going to win in this. And if you look at the Democrats or the Democratic Socialists or whatever they're calling themselves these days, they are doing everything they can to subvert the American Constitution and system. Look at the charges being filed in Congress now by Ms. Cortez against 2 Supreme Court justices. They're trying to get rid of them. This whole thing, the charges against Trump and everything, is all politically motivated and in the same vein as a third world country. Now, I'm going to end this special report by pointing out something. Some members of Congress of the Democratic side have been saying, well, the U.S. has now become a laughingstock. I have some news for you guys. The U.S. has been a laughingstock for quite some time now. This is a country where people can choose their genders. People can choose what bathroom to use. Children are having their genitals mutilated at very young ages because they feel different. The economic policies of this country under Biden have gone berserk. Food is a lot more expensive. It's not just gone up 20%. It's doubled and tripled in some places. Inflation is going to go through the ceiling. Nothing is good about this at this point. The U.S. lost credibility a long time ago, and we did it to ourselves. There's no redeeming quality that the Democratic Party has at this point. None. In fact, I don't think they're going to survive this. I think they're going to go and evolve into something else. Now, Mr. Trump is not the best pick either. The way he talks and the way he acts is very typical of that part of the United States, to be a bit of a sociologist. But he is not the one leading this whole thing in this country, this populist movement. He's at the front of it. He's being pushed along. If it wasn't for him, it would have been somebody else. But there's a significant portion of people in the United States who are sick of the insanity. So instead of saying, make America great again, I think that's a pretty high bar to meet at this point. Why don't we just say, let's make America sane again? I'll start there. Members of Congress later in the day will probably be screaming and jumping on the bandwagon. They're like that. They pile on when they can, because they're all worried about losing their own positions. And we all know that people come into Congress with very little money and they leave and they're multimillionaires. I wonder why that is. Nobody looks into that. It'll be interesting to see over the next few days what's going to happen. I think that he's going to be forced out of office very soon. I don't see how anything can get done over the next few months. Just remember that all the fallout we're going to be seeing for years to come is because people were too foolish, and I have to say stupid, to see the obvious. Wishful thinking is not thinking. Hold on to your hats. Everyone was predicting 2024 was going to be a very, very interesting, and not in a good way, year, and we're just passing the halfway mark. Between now and September, we're going to see an awful lot of things happen. And the real sad thing is this was all avoidable if people had just used their brain, as opposed to not. That's it for this special report. If you like what you hear, please like and subscribe. Consider a paid subscription, a gift subscription. Please share this link. Donations are always accepted. If you want to reach me and with questions, I can be reached at feedback@aureliancolumn.com. That's feedback@aureliancolumn.com. I can also be reached up on X, formerly known as Twitter. My handle there is MICCAMPEN. That's MICCAMPEN. You can reach me on Substack, which is the means by which I send out my podcast and written material, and sometimes photography. And the address there is aureliancolumn.substack.com. You can also reach me on Telegram and a few other platforms if you search for my name. That's it for today. Until we meet again, be good, be safe, be vigilant, and good day.